city I went to in Slovenia, I want to say was, Ljubljana. Went to Ljubljana. That's a really nice, beautiful place. I didn't stay too long there, but I did have a great time when I was there. That was a little bit more kind of upbeat, modern, and I had a good time with that. And then from Slovenia, I went to Poland, I believe, and I was getting ready to go back to the United States for a few weeks and then come back to Europe. I was very exhausted during this first half of Europe because I split it in two parts. So I spent about 2 or 3 months doing those countries that I just listed. So how many countries is that? I don't know, like 20 or something like that. I did all those countries. I had a great experience, but I was very exhausted. Okay, you're talking about long, long bus rides, extremely rude bus drivers. The bus drivers in Europe are absolute trash. Like, they are so disgustingly disrespectful for absolutely no reason. So whenever I did find a good, nice bus driver, it's like, oh wow, he's nice. And I can remember I was going from Kosovo to Serbia, I believe, or Serbia to Kosovo. I had a nice bus driver then. I can literally remember the nice ones. I think it was only 3 or 4. And keep in mind, this was my main source of transportation. Now, a lot of people said to catch the train. The train, a lot of times you have to do that in advance. And I never have my schedule in advance. I literally wake up and just be like, oh, what country do I want to go to next? I did not really plan anything ahead. No more than like a day ahead. So riding a train would be better if you planned it ahead. I did ride a train a few times. But to me, the bus experience was better because, I don't know, but the train ride was actually really uncomfortable because the seats don't recline. But I do like riding on the train because it's more space. So it's just a hit or miss. But either way, went to Poland, had an amazing experience at Poland. Went to Krakow, was going to go to Warsaw, but a lot of people was like, go to Krakow, and I'm so glad I did. Met this guy, I met a few people there, and we had a great time together. The food, oh my gosh, y'all. The food, so delicious, and it's pretty cheap in Poland. So got to see a lot of the history, started doing a bunch of walking tours, and I just had a really, really, really great experience in Poland. Really, really great, and I loved it. I would definitely go back for sure. Then I went back to the United States. Fast forward that, I come back and I start with the northern part of, because I wanted to end in France. So then I went to Denmark. And where did I go in Denmark? What is the city I went to? I can't. Oh, Copenhagen. Copenhagen is they're very modern. They're in Denmark. They're very more on the expensive side. Not too expensive, but it's pretty expensive, kind of. Didn't really enjoy the food there. It was a really like closed vibe. It wasn't like your super friendly hospitality people like in like more like the eastern part of Europe. Wasn't really feeling Copenhagen, and I couldn't find any good food there either. So Denmark. Then I went to Norway, took a ferry to Norway. That was my first time. That was my first time taking a overnight ferry to Norway. That was nice. Norway I really enjoyed. It was a little colder there, and fish and seafood and all that was absolutely delicious, obviously. And I really like the accents of the people in Norway. I don't know why, but I really love their accent. It sounded a lot like the accents in the Netherlands. Norway, where did I go? Oslo. We had a great experience there. Lots of saunas there. That's like a thing up there in Northern Europe. Went to Sweden after that. Had a crazy experience in Sweden. Ended up booking a hostel. They ended up being like a homeless shelter in real life. When I got there, I saw really bad reviews. And when I got there, it was just, I don't know, I just didn't have the best experience. But it ended in a good way. It started off kind of rough, but it ended up being a great experience. Then I went to Finland. Really, really, really loved Finland. Finland was absolutely amazing. And the food was delicious. Ugh, the salmon, and I really love salmon. Finland, where'd I go in Finland? The capital. I can't think of it right now, but I went to Finland. What is the city I went to? Can't remember, but I'll insert it. Had a great experience there. Definitely go back to Finland one day. That was one of my favorites. I liked a lot of those places, but one of my favorites was Finland. Estonia. A lot of y'all don't know about Estonia. Probably never heard of it. It's way on the tip on the east. That was a really, really great experience. I did a ferry to Finland, I mean to Estonia as well. In Estonia, I went to the capital city, can't think of it off the top of my head, but that was an amazing experience as well. Delicious food, and that was a little bit on the cheaper side. So I was able to stay there longer, had great experience. The architecture, the history of the country was beautiful. I would highly recommend checking them out. Smaller place, but absolutely beautiful to see. Went from Estonia to Latvia, which is right next door, the country next door. Didn't stay there too long. That was actually not my plan to go to Latvia. I did skip over Lithuania because I was tired and I was really trying to get to Paris. Paris was my ultimate goal. We had to go back to Belgium. Actually, I was going to Belarus. I got denied trying to get to Belarus because of a visa discrepancy. So I wasn't able to go to Belarus. So I had to skip over Belarus. Lost my money for that bus ride there, which was like $100 and some. And then I went to Estonia. I ended up catching a flight from Belgium. I mean, to Belgium from Estonia, last minute flight. And I really was pissed off about that too, because I paid like $75 for the flight, but I had to end up paying $75 to check in. I forgot the airlines, but I'll definitely put that. Oh, it was, I want to say it starts with a D, but it's Absolute Trash Airlines. I got to put that in there too. Terrible experience with them. They end up literally charging me just to check in. It's like, why do I have to freaking pay to get my ticket? I've already paid for the flight. Anyways, I go from Estonia all the way to Belgium, which that'll take me all the way across Europe, closer to Paris. Get to Belgium, didn't stay there long because I've already been to Belgium at this point. Went to Paris, which is my ultimate goal. I really wanted to end in Paris, but I ended up going ahead and went to Paris from there. Had an amazing experience in Paris. Met this girl. She was so great. We spent all of our time together. Went to the Eiffel Tower. All the things that I wanted to do so bad. I actually want to move to Paris. Paris, a lot of people don't have the best experience. I personally did. I had a great experience. People were actually nice, and the food was good. And Paris is, some places are cheaper, some places are more expensive, so it just depends. But Paris was amazing. The people were great. Well, at least my experience. You know, I've heard so many crazy things about Paris, but you really have to experience it for yourself. And I had a great experience. I actually want to move back. I want to move there for like maybe like 6 months or a year or something like that. So we'll see. But went to Paris. Didn't want to leave Paris at all. But I knew that there's other countries that I needed to conquer. So I went to Paris, and then I went to Italy. Italy was another place that I had planned on staying for a few weeks, but keep in mind I was on a U.S. visa, tourist visa. I only had 90 days to stay in the Schengen zone. And the Schengen zone is basically all the countries that you would want to visit anyways. And yeah, my days were going short at this point. I had to get out of Europe, or at least out of the Schengen zone, to keep my visa, whatever, or not overstay my visa. So I was running out of days, but I did want to go to Italy for at least a week or two. I only stayed in Italy. I went to Venice, I went to Rome, and I went to Milan. Did not like any of those places, but Milan was probably my favorite out of all three. The people were rude, just bump right into you, step all on your feet. Like, I just had a very not great experience in Europe in all three of those places. No. The only way I would go back to Italy is if somebody bought my ticket for me and planned the whole itinerary, because I don't think I would want to spend any dime over there. Like, I just didn't have the best experience. And all of the beautiful stuff that you see on like Instagram versus real life, at least for my area that I was in, I went to Venice, and those little boats that you see, that was like what I wanted to do. And in real life, I was like, this don't, it looked overcrowded. It looked like a real tourist trap, you know, not really trap, but you know, like, it just didn't look so appetizing in real life. So no, that was a no for me. Italy was probably one of my least favorite places. Switzerland, went to Bern, Switzerland. Couldn't decide between Zurich and Bern. Then I ended up just going to Bern, Switzerland. Switzerland is probably the most like perfect place I've ever seen. It was just so nice and clean, and the air was clean, and the people were nice, and it's like everybody's perfect. Just imagine like a nice Christian person who never does anything wrong. Like, that's what people in Switzerland remind me of. They're just It's like everything's so perfect, you know. It was just really clean and really nice. Then I went to Spain. I went to Barcelona and I went to Madrid. I had a great experience there. Did rock cliff jumping in the water over there. Went snorkeling and stuff. Had a great experience in Spain. I do speak Spanish, but I didn't really have to. But I do speak. They speak English too. But I met some people there, some Americans there, and we had a great time together. The food was decent. I wouldn't say it was like the best, but it was decent. I would definitely say that the Eastern Europe has better food than Western Europe, though, for sure. Well, not every country in Western Europe. Then I went from Spain to Portugal. Portugal, I never really read anything about, never heard anything about. I didn't really know much about Portugal, but let me tell you, they got amazing food there. And it's a really beautiful place, like absolutely beautiful. I went to the castles there, and I'm like, what? Like, I think it's called the Cinta Castle. I can't. I'm trying to remember all this stuff, y'all. Like, I did so much last year, as you can see. This video was like almost 20 minutes long. So that was an amazing experience. Absolutely amazing. Good food, and it was cheaper there. It was just easy to get around. One thing that I really did like about Europe is that the transportation system, they pretty much use public transport, not like us in the US. So anywhere you need to go is pretty easy. Trains, buses, metros, subways, whatever you want to call them. That's always pretty much available. So that's nice. Had a great experience in Portugal. What is the city that I went to in Portugal? I can't remember, but it was nice. I believe it was the capital, though. I think I went to the capital in pretty much all the places. Then I went back to Spain. What did I go back to Spain for? I think my flight from to the US was going back to Spain. And then that was my time in Europe. Yay! Because I ended up going to one of my girlfriend's homes in South America. And then I went to Antarctica after that. So I stayed with her for 3 weeks in Buenos Aires, but the port for Antarctica is in Buenos Aires, so I stayed with her. Everything actually worked out because I actually lost her contact, and she contacted me on YouTube and was like, call me. So it worked out really lovely. So I was able to meet with her, and she reached out to me right on time because I was like, dang it, I lost her contact. Like, now what am I going to do for that buffer time until I get ready to go to Antarctica? Because by this time, I had not overstayed my visa, but I think I was right at my 90 days in the Schengen zone. Or maybe like 92 days, who knows. But I know for sure I didn't have any more days left in the Schengen zone in Europe, so I had to get out of Europe. Went a long flight, which I was not aware of. I didn't realize how far it was from freaking Barcelona to Argentina, y'all. That is literally going way across the world. And that was 20 hours on the plane. 20. It's long ways. Didn't realize that. And then went to Uruguay. So no, I started off in Uruguay, then I went to Argentina, then I got on my cruise to Antarctica. So that is the whole story of how I did my European experience. So I was able to travel to about 90% of the countries in Europe. I have been to 82 countries at this point, all 7 continents. I am obviously, I love to travel. And I do plan on going to Africa this year, but I don't know because I'm really trying to cruise around Africa. And y'all, it's expensive. So I don't know. I think I can probably find one. It's just the timing. Because the one I wanted to go on, actually the price went up. So, but yeah, that's my experience in Europe. I've been wanting to do this video. For anybody who was looking into traveling the world, I did do a few hotels, but the majority of them was hostels. If you are a single traveler, I would highly recommend doing a hostel because you're not going to know anybody anywhere. And that's how you're going to get to know where the best places to eat. Where do you go? What's the best hostels to stay in? And plus, you don't want to do everything by yourself. Pretty much everything that I did, the majority of the time. Okay. The majority of the time, I was with somebody. I had somebody to be with. And if you stay in a hotel, first of all, it's expensive, but also too, you're going to miss out on traveling the world. Is not, you shouldn't be just staying in a hotel by yourself. Like, that doesn't really, to me, make sense. I want to get out there and I want to explore the world. I want to see things. I want to meet people. I want to have great experiences. I did not have to experience many things alone because I was staying in a hostel where I could meet people and mingle with them and talk with them. And when you are around other backpackers and people who travel from multiple countries for a long period of time, you end up, they're going to probably the same countries you're going to, or they just came from them. So they can just give you all that information. And I believe that's why I had such an amazing experience. I have like a discount now because I was talking to somebody who gave me their employee discount. So on my future endeavors, I got discounts now, so it's just about making those connections. And some people are not a big fan of sharing space and stuff like that, and you don't have to share space because a hostel is, my cousin actually asked me one day and was like, do you have to pay for it? And I'm like, yeah, you got to pay for it, but depending on where you are, that's going to determine how much money you're going to spend for it. In cheaper places, you can spend maybe $10 or $15 a night at a hostel versus like Paris, France, Italy, you're going to spend like $40 or $50. In some places, like in Finland, I think the most I paid for a hostel was crazy. I was in, where was I at? Was I in Norway? I want to say I was in Norway. I literally spent like $75. $75 for a freaking hostel to share my space. So it just depends on where you are. Some hostels could be expensive. Some can be cheap. But overall, I had an amazing experience. I have conquered the continent of Europe. I would definitely go back. I love it. I really enjoyed it. I don't want to say I love it, but I have thoroughly enjoyed myself. Some of the best gelato, the best croissants, they have really good food. They really do. You're going to walk a lot. You're going to have great experience, but I would highly recommend you getting out there and traveling. So thanks for watching my video. I know it's kind of long, but I really wanted to go through each country and let you see my route, just for anybody who's interested in traveling the world like I did and going by storm and just going by country like that. I think that, hey, I did it. I'm a woman. I'm still alive, and I'm healthy. I had a lot of frustrating moments, of course, but for the most part, I was protected and everything was great. So yeah, anyways, so thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one.